Hey, happy Friday, everybody. It's chamber check-in time from your only five-star accredited chamber in the state of Idaho. And today I get to help share the Optum Healthcare's message. They have some really cool things going on mental health first aid. And I think it's really cool that we get to have Kelly Knowles. She's the senior training specialist, and Tracy Carlson, senior trainer at Optum Idaho, with us today to help share that story. Kelly and Tracy, these chamber check-ins are really designed to help share our members' origin stories, their products and services, but more importantly, the people. And so with that, I'd like to start off with just introducing you both. Take a moment, and we'll start with you, Kelly, and just give us a little bit about your background, when you started with Optum, and how did you land with this organization?
Um, so s- I'm Kelly Knowles. I am a senior training specialist with Optum Idaho. I've been here just about 3 years. What landed me here was it's a, it's a history, but we'll skip kind of the long term part of that. But I had worked at Terry Riley as a trainer, so working with the federally qualified health centers and providing training and information on how they help the people throughout the Treasure Valley. And then from there, I was also worked at the Idaho Health Data Exchange, and they touched everybody throughout Idaho, providing patient information wherever someone traveled throughout the state. And so I had that background, that medical background, but I'd always wanted to work at Optum because they support the behavioral health services that Medicaid provides throughout the state. And I love training, and I felt it was a really good fit for me to bring my training skills and then also some of the medical knowledge I had obtained from those two agencies, and then just kind of bring all that together and work with Optum and provide some amazing training for them.
Awesome, Kelly.
Yeah.
Um, I really appreciate hearing that history because it's so important that we have credible people that are training, that have the experience and the
Mhm.
knowledge. That's great.
Yeah.
So, Tracy, let's go with
Yes.
you now. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about you and your background and how you landed with Optum.
Okay, so I'm the newest member on the education and training team. I've been with Optum since July of 2022. So my background was in education as a special education teacher for about 16 years, and then a consulting special education teacher for Boise School District. And one thing that um, led me to Optum Idaho was I got a chance to be a trainer, but also help people understand things better. And so Optum had this position as a senior trainer slash instructional designer, and it fit perfectly. And so,
Mhm.
also with my background as a special ed teacher, just knowing some of the issues behind the trauma and mental health illness, this was a great fit for me. And so here I am at Optum Idaho.
Awesome, Tracy. They're so glad to have you. Uh,
Mhm.
Kelly, you had spoken a little bit about the Optum as a whole, and
Mhm.
for me and the listeners that don't know, what is the overarching mission and vision of Optum, and kind of help me understand what Optum services are to the public.
Optum Idaho, we manage the behavioral health services for Medicaid members throughout the state of Idaho. And what that means is we are managing the people who provide your care. And so we help train the providers, the people who are coordinating all of your mental health issues. We work a lot with the youth of Idaho. We offer youth courses to people so they can train and have group sessions with youth. We have peer support services. there's, oh my gosh, if you go to our website, there's a lot of services and you can get so much more information from there. We also contribute and give back to our community. We do the boots for the kids in the schools in the wintertime. We provide them boots. We work with other agencies throughout the state and providing and helping them where we can, which is mental health first aid is one of those actions we've started to provide as well.
Awesome, Kelly. And I'm glad you positioned us into our next piece of conversation. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about the mental health first aid classes that you're training. And Tracy, I'm going to ask you to just kind of give us an overview of what is mental health first aid and what the course is and how it helps.
Sure. Yeah. So people, they take CPR classes to learn how to assist when somebody's having a medical issue. And so mental health first aid, which is also known as MHFA, you'll hear us refer to that a lot. It's a training that helps assist if someone's experiencing a mental health or substance use related crisis. And so this training program is designed to educate individuals on how to recognize, understand, and respond to the signs of mental illness and substance use disorders. It's peer-to-peer. It's for anyone 18 years or older. Like Kelly had mentioned, we also have the youth mental health first aid, which is great for those that interact with the adolescent population, 12 to 18 years old. So of course, parents, teachers, coaches, your youth leaders, church leaders, anybody working with the adolescents. So that's a great program too. And then I found a statistic that I wanted to share from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. On average, about 130 people die by suicide every day. So that's about 47,000 people a year. And then from 1999 to 2019, over 840,000 people died from a drug overdose. Oh. And so, Paul, if we put these numbers together, combine these numbers, that would be equivalent to the entire population of the Treasure Valley in 2019 just disappearing. Wow. So that, yeah, when I hear it like that, it's devastating either way, but it really brings it back to Idaho. So, so recognizing the signs is of course a very important first step, but individuals also need the skills to help someone who might be developing a mental health or substance use challenge. And so the overarching goal of mental health first aid is to improve that mental health literacy, reduce the stigma associated with mental illness, and then also, really importantly, is to provide people with the skills and knowledge to help individuals in a crisis or that, again, might be developing a mental health problem.
Wow, Tracy, thank you for helping explain to me a little bit about mental health first aid and bringing something that's familiar like CPR, mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
We know about CPR. It's in high school curriculum. I think that mental health first aid should also make that, some part of curriculum. Kelly, there was a video that was made with you in it, and I'm going to share that video that was made at the zoo, Boise. So give me a second here to load that up.
All right.
Hello, Idaho. I'm Kelly Knowles, and I'm training adult mental health first aid here at Zoo Boise. We've set this class up so I'm doing it face-to-face here at the zoo to give the zoo people an opportunity to learn about signs and symptoms of what they're looking for, if possibly with visitors that come to the zoo, and just help them to manage that and how they're going to manage it. Not only with visitors that are here, but people they might know from the outside or other places they go to volunteer or encounter.
We see with a lot of our volunteers, they come and they tell us this is their happy place. A lot of people feel like they really get to connect with nature and with animals. And that's an opportunity that I myself really appreciated when I was younger and when I was coming as both a student, as a visitor, as a volunteer. And so really allowing this to be a safe space for people where they get to come, they get to observe nature, they get to be in nature and enjoy those things that so many people find impactful and meaningful in their life. And just being a space where, you know, for any of our volunteers or even a guest, if they want to talk that out, if they want to be here and have those moments of just gratitude and recognizing that this is a safe space and it's somewhere where they can be appreciated and share their love and their passion and their excitement for animals or wildlife, I want to be able to offer that for them too.
Optum Idaho felt that because of the high suicide rate in Idaho, that we wanted to invest in a program that could be used statewide to help adults, youth, and teens of Idaho with mental health, with medical first aid. People go out and they can, you know, they're trained on what to look for, what to, you know, how to help someone if they're cut or bleeding or whatever. But the same thing happens with mental health. It is a disease, and it's something that we can help people with. I volunteer at the zoo, and I felt that my the experience that I have with our visitors from time to time, you wonder if they're okay. You just want to do a check in with them and ask them if they're okay. Plus, the zoo staff members, when we lose an animal, it's very difficult for them. And so we want to make sure that people are reaching out and making sure that staff members are being looked after as well.
Mental health illnesses are a thing and it's something to be aware of. And everyone, you know, even the people that seem really happy and really good to go, you're all going to have times in your life where you are going to have stressors and you are going to have struggles, and that is absolutely okay. So I think just having this as an opportunity to talk, to really air some of that out and just be very open is incredible. And I hope that everyone feels like they have a space where they can do that.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was really, really good, Kelly. And I'm just impressed. That video actually brought my blood pressure down.
It's looking at the tiger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, so continuing on, Kelly, I'm going to ask you a couple questions about you were doing this training. So we saw some of the kind of how the training is going and what it's comprised of. Maybe give us a little bit deeper dive into how the training is comprised, and for those that are interested in getting this free training, how do we go about scheduling that?
Okay. So the training is free through Optum Idaho. And I'll address that first, because that's, if you go to the optumidaho.com website, there's a link in there. And if you click on that link, it'll actually take you to a page where you can register your interest in getting the training, whether it's youth or adult mental health first aid. And so you just kind of put your interest out there, and then that goes to all the instructors throughout Idaho who are certified to train in mental health first aid. And then we can start coordinating classes and stuff. So that's the first part. Um, we provide that training in a variety of settings, as you just saw. I mean, at Zoo Boise was great. There was a lot of good interaction there. Um, and that's just such a great place to be. And I could go off on that tangent, but I'll try to stick more towards your question. But it really can be taught in a variety of organizations. We have instructors who are teaching entire school districts over in Grace, Idaho. They're teaching all of the teachers in that district on how on youth mental health first aid. They're now moving over to Soda Springs. And so there's a lot of groups out there that are working with us and the instructors on how to make that training happen for them. It does take a while. It's not a simple class. I think that's the same with CPR, but it does take 7 to 8 hours, and that can be blended. So we can either do all face to face for the whole time, and then the other option we have is to have you watch a video. It's about a 2-hour video, and it's part of the training. It's that first section that if I was face to face I could train you, but If you're doing it as a blended learning, you watch that, and then we can train you either virtually, which is quite handy for sometimes for the rural communities. And then we could also do the same training face to face like I did at Zoo Boise. But more importantly, it really helps training and or helps people understand and how to assist someone who's experiencing a mental health or substance use related challenge that Tracy kind of talked about. But in the course, you learn the risk factors, you learn warning signs for mental health, addiction concerns, strategies, how to help someone in both crisis and non crisis situations, and where to turn for help. And we talk about that quite a bit as well.
Kelly, I really loved the video when, and what you talked about is when the animals
Hmm.
pass,
That's
how
difficult.
hard that is on the zookeeper staff and the staff of the zoo.
Hmm.
I remember when one of the lions had to be put down this last year, and how hard that was for Mr. Peacock to even talk about, right?
It
Because there's
is.
so much love there. Anyway,
Hmm. Yes.
um, you had mentioned a little bit about what the training is comprised of, and who you're partnering with. Is there anyone else in the state of Idaho that Optum partners with that you didn't mention? You mentioned some schools and some
Hmm.
organizations. Is there anyone else that you would like to mention?
Yeah, we do offer the mental health training. Optum, we've trained over 1,800 people to date, which is, it could be up a little bit from that. We don't have a complete list, but we've provided multiple trainings in each of the 7 regional public health districts, and then they in turn train members. Canyon County Juvenile Probation, CSI, CWI, ISU, the College of Technical, Pediatric and the PA students, the College of Eastern Idaho and their nursing program, Wood River YWMCA, Lewiston YWCA, Palouse Advocacy League, Upriver Youth Council, and most of the regional recovery community centers. That's just a few of where we've gone to help train people on this wonderful um, it's just so great. I can't.
Yeah,
I had to find. I have trouble finding words for it.
I love it. We all have a first aid kit in our
Yes.
offices,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it would be nice to add the mental health piece as well in that first aid kit. We're all looking for a band-aid for a cut, but what do we have
Exactly.
for our mental health?
Right.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for that explanation. Tracy, I'm going to come back to you.
Okay.
Why is training needed here in Idaho?
Yeah. Well, first, I want to thank you for inviting us on
Mm.
your webcast to get the word out because, Optum, we're looking for ways to get the word out. And so this is a great way to get the word out about mental health first aid. Idahoans, Idahoans need this training because knowledge is powerful when it comes to preventing suicide. And like we talked about with the CPR kits, first aid kits, people have those, but unfortunately, people don't know how to respond to a person with a mental health or substance use challenge. And MHFA really gives the tools to support those individuals who may not realize they need help or that where the help is available.
Mhm.
And so I want to share another statistic with you. Idaho's suicide rate is 1.4 times the national average and
Oh,
is the 9th most common cause of death. Yeah, it's staggering. Um, Between 2014 and 2018, 125 Idaho school age children, so that's 6 to 18 years old, died by suicide, and 31 of those children were under the age of 14. And unfortunately, I probably know a handful of those kiddos in that statistic. Um, and also, according to the Youth Risk Behavior Survey from 2019, the percentage of Idaho high school students who seriously considered attempting suicide during the previous 12 months increased significantly from 14.2% in 2009 to 21.6% in 2019. So when more people, when we can equip more people with the tools to start that dialogue, the more people that we can get the help they need, right? So mental health first aiders are a vital link between someone experiencing that mental health challenge or substance use challenge and getting that appropriate support. To date, I believe 2.9 million people in the United States have been trained by mental health first aid. So we just need to get more Idahoans on that in that number. So definitely can visit Optum Idaho for more information regarding the mental health first aid program.
I'm going to put the website back on and kind of bring us back on the same page here.
Okay.
I'm going to move you down here, Tracy, so we can see you. I want to thank you both for the opportunity to help share this wonderful program that you're training trainers, training businesses, training attractions like our Boise Zoo. I think it's I'm a father of 3 school-age children, and it's important to recognize those signs early and often. So thank you again, both, for your time explaining a little bit about the mental health first aid, MHFA services that you provide. And thank you to Optum, to Georgianne and Chris for connecting us today.
Thank you for having us, Paul.
Yes, thank you, Paul.
All my pleasure. Have a great weekend, you two.
Thanks.